All right, everybody, we're back, and it is time to get back to Nina Aquila, Chapter 4. And from our last meeting, Nina was told by one of the studio employees that some information had been discovered about her client. She was all ready to join the Valiant Valkyries on their one last ride into Niflheim, but decided, I need to serve my client first. That's when Dylan stepped in. And what I thought would be a Cure Wing situation turned into a Sailor Starlight situation. I have a feeling that there's going to be a moment where Dylan looks down and says, "Oh my god, are these real? I think they're real." Oops. Do I have this plugged in? No, I don't. There we go. Okay, so Nina now has to head to the studio. Good luck with your investigation. Okay, where do we need to go, though? Wow, this office is a real mess. An empty trash can. Sunday, March 8th, 9:04 p.m., Studio Soundstage, Day 5. Nina! I came as quickly as I could, Sarah. I thought if you came right away, maybe it would make a difference. Like, if you had more time. Okay, start at the beginning. Chad Hawk swung by earlier. Did he interview people again? Actually, no. Huh? He said he needed to use our equipment for something, so Jack Cable and I said we'd help him out. What did he need? Well, look at this. The monitor? Jack fixed it? No, it was totaled. Jack managed to locate a spare at an electronics place uptown. But that's not all. They did it. The techs down at the police lab actually did it. That's why I thought you'd want to see this as quickly as possible. I'll hit play. Okay, Milia, in your own time. But I can't. I can't leave. It's just a trip. Like a vacation. One that you desperately need, that we desperately need. The All-Father granted me my powers. To protect the city, I know. What if Malfara comes back? It's been months since we last heard anything from the Queen of Despair. And you deserve a vacation. But I can't. I can't just... Ugh. Janice, are you okay? Yeah, I think so. Maybe it's the start of a migraine? It's my head just felt a pang. No! Hoot! Are you certain? Hoot! Millie, I think the line was that you can't leave as long as... Reveal yourself. Millia, you're way off script. Millie, it's just a headache. Don't Millie me. I'll give you this one chance. Do you mean to harm these people? Then I'll take that as your answer. Get back, everyone. By the sacred feather, Valkyrie, transform! Oh, we get another transformation sequence. I can't see! It must have been that light. My vision's dazzled. Same here. Everyone, stay where you are. It'll pass in a sec. Vile creature. Vile creature. I don't know what's going on here, but I won't let you harm these people. I knew it! Begone, foul fiend! Valkyrie Inferno! Then what? It just goes white? It looks like the footage cuts out at that moment. We're guessing that was the start of the power surge. It must have affected the camera circuit first. I can see why you wanted me to come straight down here. Caught in 4K barely seems to cover it. And in full color, too. Like I said, I knew you had to see this as soon as possible. You did the right thing, Sarah. Did Chad review this footage with you? Yeah. Then he walked over to the stage. Did he examine anything? He kinda just stood there. I guess he looked pensive. Like he was thinking pretty hard about something. You know, Millie is an actress. A really good one. So much of the video could be... maybe. Not a chance. That footage, Milia was right about what she said over at the detention center. When she attacked Janice, you could see the fury in her eyes. What she did on purpose. I'll never convince Tawny otherwise. I'm sorry it wasn't better news. Lotta can let you out. You know, it's weird. I bet that before this week, the studio's most pressing health and safety concerns were those viral test kits. What? We haven't used those in months. We had to take them when we arrived at the studio. Lotta was quite specific. Oh! You were visitors. I guess Lotta was just being cautious. But Milia had one in her trailer. Really? Could have been an older one. Maybe she forgot to throw it away. Was it positive? Uh-huh. 2 solid lines in the little window. I know that how that feels. Strange. I don't recall Milia ever getting sick. Then again, she was always pretty fit and active. I guess she carries it well. I truly believe Milia's innocent. At least, of the crime of which she's accused. I mean, in a certain sense, she is technically guilty. Excuse me. She transformed and genuinely attacked the person standing before her on the set. But she still insists she didn't load the machine. And she didn't plan to kill her husband. Despite all the evidence that says she did. I said this to the girls. And when I said it, I really meant it. Milia and Janice have been happily together, even happily married for ages. Then, in the space of a week, Milia goes to jail and the city becomes a war zone. I've got to know why. But I'd settle for why now. Okay, this is the end of the day. It is recommended that you save your game to a new file before you continue. You can also save at any time from the main menu screen. Would you like to save your game? Ugh. Dylan? He didn't come home last night. I'd better get ready for court. Last day. I've just gotta hope that the girls come through. Time to get to the courthouse. The front desk for the building. I don't think I've ever actually seen anyone running it. Our mail sometimes gets left here. Ooh. Thunder and lightning. Wow. Monday, March 9th, 8:52 a.m. Fledge City Courthouse, Courtroom B, Day 6. Strange. The courtroom seems a lot quieter than normal for a case that's this high profile. Though I guess with the attacks on the city and even the bad weather, maybe people didn't want to come out even to see the trial of a celebrity. Still no sign of Dylan and the girls. Though with how Dylan looked just before he left, maybe it's just the girls. Seems like most of the studio crew turned up to see all this go down. I guess Hank wasn't kidding when he said that they're all like a family. Excuse me. Aquila. Chad. So, it comes down to this. I don't mind telling you, this week has been somewhat arduous. Uh-huh. Arduous? For you? Have you spent half the week in an armored two-piece? Now there's a picture. All rise for the Honorable Judge Tawny. Please be seated. We are assembled here for the third day of the trial of Amelia Norden. Bailiff, please bring in the defendant. Amelia Norden stands accused of murder in the first degree of her husband, fellow actor Janice Duo. On the first trial day, evidence came to light suggesting that Amelia armed a stage device that incinerated her husband. On the second trial day, we debated various technicalities around Milia's motive, among other matters. Ultimately, we were left with a problem. Many of the supposed witnesses of the incident were blinded at the time, and it was still unclear exactly how the incident took place. Your Honor, the prosecution still asserts that a murder took place during these events, and will in due course present a high-definition video showing how this happened in exacting detail. Chad doesn't know all the true context that surrounds the case. If someone really did plan all of this, he's probably just to be stating what they wanted people to think. Very well. Mr. Hawk, please restate the prosecution's case. Yes, Your Honor. Broadly, the facts of this case have not changed. Janice Duo died at the set at the TV studio during a filming, with a cause of death consistent with the high-temperature flames that can be caused by special effects equipment. We have shown evidence that suggests Amelia Norden engineered this situation, and today we have detailed footage of the event in question. Thank you, Mr. Hawk, for your summary of the case. Amelia Norden, I believe that a change of heart right now is unlikely, but I must ask if you are interested in changing your plea. Your Honor, I am not guilty of murdering my husband. I will maintain this to the very end. Okay, game face on. Very well, the court recognizes your not guilty plea. Prosecution, bring forth your first witness. Okay, Chad, let's see your video. Your Honor, as we assert that this was premeditated, events actually start on the night before the incident. I had searched for someone with a perspective on both the night before and the actual incident itself. Wait, he can't mean... The prosecution calls Maxie LaRue to the stand. Here is asked, Your Honor. Very punctual. Good morning, Ms. LaRue. Maxie, please, child. Child? Oh, I see. Ms. LaRue, I will henceforth address you as Maxie, but Your Honor, if you please. Judge Tawney in a pinch. Yes, Your Honor. Maxie, you came. Nothing would stop me, child. But hush now. Your Honor, Ms. Maxie LaRue is the studio's makeup guru and hairstylist. I see. Ms. LaRue, I understand you were injured during the incident in question, is that correct? So much so that you were unable to attend court several days ago? I was, Your Honor. I sustained burns to much of my face and body, though despite being extensive, the depth was superficial. So you are, in fact, healthy enough to be here? You are in no distress? I am, yes. In that case, as you were injured, that means you were present when the incident occurred? I was. Your Honor, Ms. LaRue's experiences are unique, which is why I've asked her here today. She is the only person who saw both the incident firsthand, yet also witnessed something important on the night before at the studio. So that's what Chad was thinking about. He must have wanted a fresh perspective for the trial day from someone, but took a while to think of Maxie. And I could swear, you're gonna think I'm crazy. Maxie saw some troubling things that night. Things she couldn't explain. Is that what Chad wants from her? Excuse me. Order. Is this true, Ms. LaRue, Maxie? It is, Your Honor. I was there on the day when the incident took place where I sustained my injuries. And I was at the studio late the night before. The weather was stormy, rainy, there was thunder and lightning. I worked late hoping it would clear up before I had to leave. And why has it taken this long for you to speak of these matters? My hospital stay is part of that. But also, Chad came to see me at the start of all this. I was in the hospital. He asked me a load of questions, but they were focused entirely on the incident itself. I answered them as best I could, but I confess I was in pain and in a medicated state. Some of the things I saw, well, it'll make sense once we get going. If it pleases the court, as we're more familiar with the incident, please start with that, and work backwards to what you witnessed at the studio on the prior night. If you insist. Witness statement. I woke up in the hospital with extensive burns after the incident. The last thing I remember seeing, Janice vanished in a bright green flash, and I felt a searing, burning pain. I was dazzled. My vision was a mess of blue and purple spots. That was caused by a bright light that came from Milia. This came after she went off script. This followed a pretty uneventful morning. I'm not sure there's much to be said about that. But during the night before, I had been working late and saw Milia outside. Thank you, Maxie. That was very enlightening. Ms. Aquila, you may begin your cross-examination. Maxie's statement is pretty damning for Milia on the surface. There's got to be something she saw that we can use to help our case. Time to find it. Hold it! You seem to have healed up well. I've always been a quick healer. The burns covered a great deal of my body, but they were only minor overall. Once I got the right treatment, they healed pretty quickly.
Hold it!
A bright green flash? That's right. My vision was pretty bad, but I was sure I saw the glimmer of green amidst the chaos. Janice vanished, and it was bright green?
Hold it!
You were effectively blind? I suppose so, Moon Princess. Maxie says that pet name with such sincerity. Honestly, I want her to do my hair if she just says it some more. That was caused by a bright light that came from Milia.
Hold it.
From Milia? That's right. But wasn't Janice in between you and Milia? He was, but the glare filled the entire room. Even though I was in Janice's shadow, my vision was still dazzled.
Hold it.
You're sure she went off script? Certain. Millie's acting actually improves when she starts to improvise. I'd know it a mile off.
Hold it.
Uneventful, huh? Well, first I got up and had a piece of toast. Then I helped Milia with the last of her makeup just before the scene. If I recall, you were there, Moon Princess. Oh, yes, that's right. I was in your salon for a round of minute during my tour of the studio. I never forget a hair color. Platinum number 78? Natural. Truly? Well, isn't that something? Can we move along?
Hold it.
Hold it. You're certain it was Milia?
Objection!
Your Honor, unnecessary repetition. The witness themselves has clearly already stated that it was a stormy night. Sustained. Ms. Aquila asks a reasonable question. I mean, it was dark. Maybe Maxie, can I suggest... Could you describe what you saw as literally as you can? I don't know. It was late. I was exhausted. Please, Maxie. As you saw it. Okay. It was late, and like Ms. Aquila just reminded everyone, it was stormy. Wind, rain, thunder, and lightning. I was just about to wrap up on my salon when I looked out of the window. The view faces onto the trailer yard. The light was dim, but for a moment, I thought I saw two things. A woman. That child. Her bust, waist, hips, that long blonde hair. Oh! And she was wearing that magical girl costume. You saw her face? Did she see you? No, I only saw her from behind. But I was pretty sure it was Milia. And what else? You said you saw two things. Thought I saw. What's the difference? For a moment, I thought I saw another figure. It was just in silhouette, but it was... Okay, it probably sounds crazy, but it looks like the outline of one of the monsters from the show. And you saw this? Maybe it was just a trick of the light. Why'd you say that? Because just moments after, there was a bright flash of blue light. Lightning, I assume? No, it was a different kind of light, and there was no following thunder. It looks like magic.
Objection!
Your Honor, prosecution insists that the witness does not embellish the story. These fanciful descriptions are entirely unnecessary. She's describing what she saw, Chad. Aquila, even you must agree that. Sustained, to a point. Maxie LaRue, can you describe the flash you saw in a more, I suppose, conventional manner? That's just it, Your Honor. I can't. Whatever the flash was, I don't believe it was lightning. And after I had blinked a few times, both Milia and the shape had vanished. Then what? I ran to the soundstage and out of the doorway. This matches Maxie's appearance on the closed-circuit TV footage, Your Honor. Even though I was so sure the flash wasn't lightning, I couldn't explain it any other way. I was worried that Milia could have been hurt. But when I got outside from a distance, I could hear Milia and Janice both inside Janice's trailer. You didn't think to ask them what was going on? It was late, and really, I guess I didn't want to interrupt. Interrupt? Honey, the nocturnal games of husbands and wives in costumes are not a spectator sport. I see. Do you feel this is important, Ms. Aquila? Yes, I believe it's important. Very well, witness. Can you please add this to your statement? Okay, so...
Objection.
Now that didn't work.
Penalty. Hold it.
Hold it. And you don't know what the blue flash was? No idea. It just didn't look like lightning. Honestly, it sounds crazy, but it looked like magic, like off the show. Like magic. Chad clearly thinks that Maxie's statement proves that really is Milia in the closed-circuit TV footage. Something about this doesn't feel right. Maybe we have some evidence that helps poke a hole in some of this.
Objection.
Okay, that didn't work.
Penalty.
Okay, I'm gonna save here.
Objection.
That didn't work either.
Penalty.
Hmm.
Objection.
Nope, that didn't work either.
Penalty. Guilty.
Okay, how should we go about this?
Objection.
Nope. And I'm really grasping at straws here.
Penalty. Objection. Penalty. Guilty.
Uneventful, huh?
Hold it.
Objection.
Objection.
Okay, so just basically going over her deposition. Her bust, waist, hips, that long blonde hair. I have a feeling that Amara was plotting against her.
Objection.
Objection. Objection.
Okay, so not Amara's costume.
Penalty. Objection.
That didn't work either.
Penalty.
I think I already tried that too.
Guilty.
I'm gonna have to figure things out. I know what I should do. It's just I don't know what I need to present in order to do it.
Objection.
Nope. Just trying to see here. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's some YouTube things, but I'll have to.
Penalty.
You know what? I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna review something, and I'll be right back. Okay, I found out what I need to do. Don't worry, I will not do this again. On the contrary, Maxie, I think I know precisely what that blue flash was. Really? Your Honor? The prosecution is implying that the person Maxie saw outside is the same person that is seen carrying an ammo crate on the closed-circuit TV footage. Correct. Why? These ammo crates have an unusual, undocumented feature. If the person knows how to do so, they can flick the catch on the crate and deploy it manually, creating a powerful jet of blue flame. Order. Not so sure why you're pointing this out, Aquila. Strengthening Maxie's story benefits my case, not yours. Except, Chad, that there's one more thing to know about this. Doing so completely empties the crate. So if this person took that crate afterwards and loaded it into the Pyron 9000, it would have been empty. Which makes perfect sense. I mean, if the machine were actually used during the incident, it would need to be full. But it wasn't, so why? That doesn't actually work. I know we haven't reviewed it yet, but the footage of the scene shows Milia using the VFX. Chad's right. I mean, he's wrong, but still. To Chad and everyone else in court, they have footage of Milia and Janice doing things they can't explain. And the VFX machine is the only way they can account for what happened. As Janice really was gone after the incident, the court won't tolerate an explanation. That denies the incident could have happened, because it did. Milia, the girls, and I, we know that it was real magic. So follow that line of thought. Cat Huil said that all their empty packs were sent back to the supplier, so they only had full ones on site. If it had been loaded into the machine while full, it would still have been full after everything went down. Chad would never have been able to explain how Milia caused the incident. The person that deployed the crate in the trailer yard must have known this. That means they must have known. Ms. Aquila, could that have been Malfara? In person? But the bird said Malfara couldn't assume the form of a familiar person. Ms. Aquila! Yes, Your Honor. That's better. I was about to say, I feel that you have made a fair observation in this matter about the ammo crate and the machine. Your Honor, I don't mean to be overly dismissive. Yes, you do. But as said earlier, we have footage of the incident. And that footage clearly shows the type of effects that machine is designed to create. I just feel that arguing whether it even could do this is moot when I have such compelling evidence that it happened. Your Honor, a moment, please. This video footage, is it to be part of the statement by our next witness? Yes, Your Honor. Then we shall move on. However, Ms. Aquila, please be aware that I am not dismissing your objection. I just don't believe it's enough to discourage us from reviewing the footage at face value. That'll have to do, at least for now. In that case, Your Honor, can the records at least show, as we move on from this witness, that Maxie LaRue did, in fact, appear to recognize that Milia was outside in the trailer yard, in full costume, right when the closed-circuit TV footage suggests that she was. Noted, Mr. Hawk. Maxie LaRue, you are dismissed. Mr. Hawk, let's keep this moving. You mentioned a video. If I recall correctly, you even used the words exacting detail. I did, Your Honor. As the court is aware, this incident took place during the recording of footage for an episode of a TV show. Moments after the incident concluded, a power surge knocked out much of the studio's equipment. The studio staff thought that the footage from the camera would be unrecoverable. But the forensics experts at Fledge City PD were more optimistic. It took them several days of work, pulling multiple all-nighters, but they were able to recover most of the footage, and And we have it here today. I have an expert witness who can guide us through this exhibit. The prosecution calls Sarah Hector to the stand. Present. Good to see you again, Mrs. Hector. As I said last time, I believe I have some familiarity with what you do for a living. But from what I have observed, directors tend to be quite senior among their teams, and you're so young. I'm fully qualified, but yes, I am unusually young for my role. I came to the studio after directing a string of music videos for an online music platform. Hank was flying solo as the entire production team at that time. He'd seen some of my work and gave me my first big break. And you have filmed the entire show so far? That's right. Then it is fair to say that you are an expert in how the show is made, filmed, and so on? I would have to say yes. In terms of how the show is written or the craft of acting, those things aren't my area. But the pragmatics of making the show, that's my world. Your Honor, this expertise speaks for itself. The prosecution has invited Sarah Hector here to present a video of the incident, broken down into its major parts. Very well. Please proceed. Lights! At my direction, Milia and Janice started, on script. Janice was the first to go off. He complained about a headache, but we kept rolling. Milia's bird hooted at her, then she went right off script. Janice tried to prompt her with the next line. Before we knew it, she used the VFX machine to transform into her Valkyrie costume. You can see Milia in her costume. Then Janice transforms into his evil prince costume. Then Milia used the VFX machine to hit Janice with a bolt of fire. You can see Janice vanish in a bright green flare. That's when the footage cuts out. Ms. Aquila, please begin your cross-examination. Okay, the footage itself is flawless. Even I saw it live, and it matches my own memory of what I saw. I need to be careful with this one. If I press something that's bad for us, something very obviously damaging and true, I might regret it. Did everything seem as normal? Pretty much. Certainly, I had no idea what was about to happen.
Hold it.
A headache? Janice sometimes suffered from migraines when we were filming. He'd seen a doctor about it, but they hadn't turned up anything specific. Janice was an amnesiac. Maybe he'd had head trauma. But I don't want to speculate.
Hold it.
You didn't think to call to cut? No. We just started filming after some time between this season and the last. I figured it was better to give Milia time to warm up.
Hold it.
So Janice was still trying to keep to script? It certainly appeared that way.
Hold it.
Are you sure that she used the VFX machine, the Pyron 9000? I can only speak for what I could see on that day, and what I see in the video. When Milia transforms into her magical girl form on the show, this is what it looks like. Milia's transformation uses a combination of flash paper in her costume and pyro from the machine. But as I pointed out earlier, the ammo crate...
Objection!
The witness has already answered that. She's describing what she saw and what's in the video. No more, no less. But surely if the witness has such expert knowledge of the show-making process, it's not unreasonable to ask, if the ammo crate was expended, how Milia could have possibly...
Objection!
Your Honor, defense is asking the witness to speculate. Sustained. I have already made a note of the concern regarding the ammo crate. Do not invite the witness to speculate.
Hold it.
And you're certain that's Milia? You were, after all, blinded at this point from where you are standing. I mean, it's 4K Ultra HD footage. If the footage was of poor quality, you might suggest a costume could obscure her identity.
Objection!
Your Honor, speculation. Sustained. Then Janus transforms into his evil prince costume.
Hold it.
Janus's transformation is not quite as flamboyant as Milia's. Can you explain why? The transformations on the show have two parts. The costumes contain flash paper which ignites when the stunt begins, causing a flash to conceal the movements. This can be bright enough to knock out the camera feed for a moment. Normally, this is augmented by an aura, provided by the VFX machine. Janus's transformation seems to only be using his flash paper, so it's not quite so grand. Do I really want to press this one? This frame looks really bad for Milia's case. I can't disprove it any further, so we probably want to try and scoot over it.
Hold it.
Are flares like this normal on set? The machine's capable of creating all sorts of colorful effects. I must confess, I've never seen this particular color before. But given the effects I've seen on other episodes, I have no reason to doubt the machine could do this. That green flash looked familiar when I saw it at the studio last night. That's the same flash I saw when that slimeball kidnapped Atalanta! I'm starting to wonder if what actually happened was quite different to what we previously thought. I kind of feel we're dancing around something. But what?
Hold it.
Hold it. Why does it stop there? The studio experienced a power surge just after this. It heavily corrupted the storage media used by the camera. We're fortunate we even managed to reclaim this much. Ms. Aquila. Yes, Your Honor. I'm not sure I can justify any more time picking over this video footage. It appears comprehensive. Can you offer me a concrete reason not to move things along? Can I dispute the footage that Shara has shown? I just don't have anything that can refute the footage as is. No, Your Honor. I hate it, but that's the right call. We can't defend Milia in the eyes of the judge if we frivolously waste court time. Very well. Sarah Hector, you are dismissed. I'm starting to think that perhaps we've seen and heard enough. Your Honor, Ms. Aquila, really. But I appreciate your valiant effort to act as zealous advocate for your client. Milia isn't a murderer. She's a hero. To children all over the country, perhaps all over the world. I feel that the court has been patient on this matter. But there comes a point where even I begin to doubt your objectivity. Judge Tawny, Enough! I appreciated your points about the functionality of the ammo crate, but your explanation suggests the incident would be impossible. That can't stand against the sheer clarity of the video we've just seen. Mr. Hawk has assembled a case that, with that small exception, explains so many other aspects of an otherwise baffling chain of events. Thank you, Your Honor. Oh, cram it, Chad. So unless you have any further remarks, I am obliged to bring these proceedings to a close. Well, looks like the girls aren't going to get back in time. Maybe it was naive to hope, but Milia really is a hero. Maybe I just needed her to win one last time. I don't understand how it can work out like this. I didn't do those things on the closed circuit TV. Milia didn't do those things? On the closed circuit TV? She said that all along. She stuck firmly to it for this entire case. Ms. Aquila, Milia's being set up, and whoever did that can't have thought of every eventuality. There has to be some way into this. Let's flip our assumptions. Milia insists that's not her in the closed-circuit TV, but Maxie saw someone, and the closed-circuit TV shows someone. We place our faith in Blast Hard Cheese, and if that's really not her, that leaves only one possible explanation. The person in the closed-circuit TV is an imposter. We know, with the studio's security, that it can't be just some random outsider. Chad said he spoke to everyone at the studio, and everyone had an alibi. Think, is there anyone for whom we have a reason to doubt their alibi? Yes, we do. Actually, Your Honor, I do have something we should settle before we move on. Oh? Chad Hawk's case explains the events of the incident and the night before as he sees them. He's accounted for everyone. Every person at the studio has an alibi, apart from my client. Melia states that she spent the evening with Janice, meaning her only alibi is, in fact, the victim. Really, Aquila? You're just restating what we all consider to be true. Am I? So, it stands to reason, if I can show that to be incorrect. What piece of evidence suggests someone was alone on the night before the incident when they said they weren't? Someone bought one meal and one ticket. There is, in fact, one person where I would doubt their alibi. Preposterous! I was extremely thorough. I checked everyone against another source, and there were 0 discrepancies. I even committed all of them to memory. Then in that case, the defense would like to ask, where was Hank Castle on the night before the incident? Me? I understand he was out on a date. That's the thing. Your Honor, I have here a pair of receipts from that night. Credit card receipts. These are for 2 venues, a sushi restaurant and a movie theater. Both receipts, Ms. Aquila, are for one person. This person paid for one all-you-can-eat meal at the sushi place and 1 ticket at the movie theater. So Hank Castle is a dateless wonder. Who cares? Hey! The point is that Hank's date is also the alibi for someone else. Hank said he went on a date with Devona. Devona Fairchild. Damn it, Nina, I told you that in confidence. I'm sorry, Dev. What are you all staring at? You're dating Devona? What? We're both adults. Isn't that strange? It's just... I mean, you're like the worst secret keeper ever. Yeah, everyone knows you're a street racer. We're just kind of surprised that no one in the office noticed. You're fixating on the wrong revelation here. I'm saying that Devona didn't go on the date with Hank. Of course we did. Sushi and a movie. Did you pay? Yes, I'm a gentleman. Then why did you have receipts for one?
Objection.
This is preposterous. The relationship status of these two is entirely... This has nothing to do with their personal lives. We're talking about alibis. Your Honor. Your Honor? Your Honor? I heard you, Mr. Hawk. This is a cause for concern. The prosecution's case was tight, and the evidence of the video is extremely compelling. But after Ms. Aquila raised the point earlier about the ammo crate, and now it seems even a core alibi is being called into question by evidence. In truth, if these matters can't be easily explained, I am starting to grow concerned over the procedures of this studio business and their safety provisions. If they can't even account for the whereabouts of their own staff when dangerous chemicals are... But we can! Excuse me? Devona, it's fine. No, Hank, it isn't. Bamilia is our friend. This has gone on long enough. I know she means a lot to you. But if it keeps going, it threatens to destroy everything you've built. Oh, you're that dog's body from before. Your Honor, the studio prides itself in its work and cares deeply for the welfare of its staff. I don't want to, but if it's going to damage the business's reputation, I feel compelled to set the record straight. Can I testify and hopefully answer these questions? Well, that's unexpected. But I guess it buys us time. Mr. Hawk, I have no objections to this. Hank and I went on our date, and he paid for everything. And the ammo crates? There's a good explanation for that. I hate to say it, but only Milia could have done this. After all, that's her on the CCTV. I see. Well, this may settle our concerns. Miss Aquila, you may begin your cross-examination. What the? She didn't answer anything! Something's not right here. Let's get drilling. Hold it. Really? Yes. In that case, how did he come to have a credit card receipt for both the restaurant and movie theater for one person? Hankey's an old-fashioned romantic, but he was paranoid that other people at the studio might find out about our relationship. So when he paid in both places, he paid twice. One time he got a receipt, and the other time he didn't. Hankey's willing to put up with a lot for us to be together. He sounds rather spineless, if you ask me. I think it's sweet. I'm not sure I quite understand courtship these days. That may be, but in that case, why was Hank seen at the sushi place on his own? I spoke to the manager of the Great Wave, Kiara Williams.
Objection.
Hearsay, Your Honor. Sustained. Gah, how could I be so foolish? Kiara just said that in passing. I don't have any evidence it's true. This alone isn't going to be enough to dispute what Devona is saying. I'll need to look at her other statements and see if I can find more holes. Did I really pay twice like that? Was I that worried about it coming out? That doesn't sound like something I'd do. Hush now, honey. Everything's gonna be fine.
Hold it!
A good explanation? If used with care, you can deploy them without fully emptying them. You're sure? I'm certain. Because I spoke to Danny Trost, the idol, who uses the same system in her music act.
Objection.
Hearsay, Your Honor. Sustained. Yes, fine. Can you cite any example, Devona, that shows a crate that can be used after it's manually deployed? Anytime the studio has done this? Heavens, no. It's very dangerous. The manufacturer prohibits it. Then how do you... This incident is surely proof that it's possible. How else do you propose those things happened that are depicted on the video? Are you proposing the machine fired while the crate was empty? That's like asking a printer to print without any ink. That's circular reasoning. Surely you must have...
Objection.
Badgering, Your Honor. The witness has answered the question. Sustained. Ms. Aquila. If you have any evidence that the witness is wrong, please present it, or accept that we must move on. Yes, Your Honor. Is it, though? You're certain it's her in the footage? Of course I am. Just look at it. That's not me! I keep telling everyone. I didn't go out in costume on that night, and I didn't do those things.
Order!
Order. Milia Norden, restrain yourself, or I will have you held in contempt. Let the witness continue. Even from a cursory glance at the footage, it seems obvious that it's Milia. I disagree. What you say is obvious, I say is ambiguous. To say the footage is indistinct would be being generous. It's grainy, of a low frame rate, it's in monochrome. The figure in the footage is wearing Milia's costume. Amara was away. Who else could it possibly be? Do you feel this is important, Miss Aquila? Yes. I believe it's important. Very well, witness. Can you please add this to your statement? Okay, so let's see if this one is the right one. Actually, let me save first, just in case.
Objection?
Nope, not it.
Penalty.
Okay, so we're going to try that other piece of evidence.
Objection!
Nope, not that one.
Penalty. Guilty. Objection!
There we go. That's where it came in. Who else, indeed? Your Honor, please take a look at this piece of evidence. What am I looking at? I see a list of names and numbers. Your Honor, what you have in your hands is a copy of a document obtained from Daryl Furcoat, the studio tailor. He makes the costumes at the studio. He also has a side hustle where he performs minor clothing alterations for the other staff. I still don't see the relevance. Please look at the figures for Millia Norden. Then look at the figures for Amara Walker. Now, look at the figures adjacent to the name of Devona Fairchild. Oh! What is it? What's going on? It's a question of vital statistics. Millia Norden, Amara Walker, and Devona Fairchild are the exact same size. And all three of them have the same length blonde hair. But this is ridiculous. Are you really saying... I'm disputing your statement. You said just moments ago, if the wearer was too small, it'd fall right off. Too big and they wouldn't be able to put it on. And though it might be a bit of a cliche, if the armored bikini fits, wear it! Uh-oh. Wear an armored two-piece? Me? I feel self-conscious in a cocktail dress. She does always kind of go for frumpy chic. I think I'd die of cringe even trying on one of those costumes. I've dressed down for literally every studio party. Do you feel this is important, Ms. Aquila? Yes, I believe it's important. Very well, witness. Can you please add this to your statement? Where is Millia in this?
Objection!
Ha! Which events? Excuse me? You mentioned attending all of the studio's social events. Which ones? Well, all of them. Name a specific one. Nina, even I think this is becoming a farce. Devona and I are very close. She attends all of the studio's... The Christmas party, no. Jack's son's baptism, no. The Halloween bash? No. She isn't in any of my pictures either. Ditto. But she's worked with us for years. right?
Order.
Oh, boy. Go on, Devona. Name one. Big social events. Everyone's there. Everyone has smartphones. Show me one unflattering selfie. One blurry group photo. Just one.
Objection.
Defense is badgering the witness. Sustained on tone, but not on principle. We will need to delve into this further. Finally, I think this is coming into focus. I really must protest. This is completely out of order. Please, Hank, didn't you write out the credits for the last season? Yeah, why? I just checked on my phone. There's no Devona Fairchild listed. That's impossible. It's true. It's okay, honey. Mistakes happen. Like I've thought for days. It's almost like this entire situation was constructed. There's just too many places where Milia can only explain her actions with the one thing that she can't say. Too solid, too perfect. No set of coincidences could possibly do this. Your Honor, the defense is making a mockery of these proceedings. Mr. Huck is right. I'm not on trial here. I bear Milia no ill will. But if this goes on, our audience could leave. Our insurers could ditch us. The studio will be over. And even if you follow this ridiculous line of questioning through to its logical conclusion, why would Devona Fairchild, an assumed employee of the studio, suddenly decide to arm this machine that she can't even activate? A fair point. Well made. Oh no. Ms. Aquila, this is your theory. If you can't back up why, in your view, this all suddenly came about, well? Yes, Your Honor, just a moment for me to prepare my remarks. Nothing's changed. I'm still convinced. Not why. Why now? Okay, game face on. Let's take this right the way back to the start. Milia's accused of killing Janice Duo. We think she was framed, so let's start there. Before they begin making the show, Janice was taken to the hospital as a John Doe. He had total memory loss. But he got the job on the show and met Milia. They fell in love and even got married. But I think, at this point, his true identity is pretty clear. Who is Janice, really? Janice wasn't substituted by a monster. Janice really is Prince Kakon. But with total memory loss. Maybe he hadn't told Milia because he genuinely didn't know. If that's true, that means Janice is Malfara's son. Of course! Seeing her son married to her arch-enemy? Malfara must have been furious. Ms. Aquila, a moment longer, please, Your Honor. If Malfara weaved this web of guilt, she must have done so personally. It's far too complex a plan to leave to underlings. Malfara is a mistress of illusion. That means Malfara could have impersonated Milia, or Amara, or even Janice Duo. Sorry to wreck your train of thought, but that's not how it works. In our experience, Malfara can take the form of a person, but she's unable to duplicate or clone someone perfectly, someone you know quite well. Though that had the chilling effect of always making us wary of new people with whom we got involved. That scepter gave her the power to scry. By destroying it, we took away that power. She needs to be able to see someone to use her magic on them. I want to know how your big date went. Nunya. Nunya? Nunya business. Now I'm even more certain. The girls went to look for Malfara, but I think she's closer than we thought. Who is most likely to be Malfara in disguised? Of course! Devona was in the monitor room with us, so she saw the whole thing. She didn't go on the date with Hank. Maybe she even used her powers to take his keys and send him on his date alone, believing he was with her. Malfara can't impersonate people you know, but all signs are suggesting Devona may have only turned up a month ago, and somehow convinced everyone she'd worked there for years. Ms. Aquila. Your Honor, I have been quite patient, but this has gone on long enough. It's clear you don't have a rationale to offer, so I shall move on to my final deliberations. In the matter of... No! We're so close. I can feel it. Kakon, Milia, Malfara. Malfara had all the time in the world to go about her plans. We even know her army isn't finished. So why now? If Devona really is Malfara, then Devona is just a mask. If I can figure this out, surely I can crack that facade just a tiny bit, and that'll do it. Prince Kakon was defeated. I'd lived with him as husband and wife for over a year. I was... Milia took out a large life insurance policy on Janice. The document needed to be stamped by a notary for legal purposes. I knew Milia and Janice were going through some stuff, but I had no idea it was going to end up like this. You can never really know what goes on between two people. But lately, Milia and Janice had been having a bunch of arguments. Just wanted to confirm if the shooting for the season will still be over by July or August, and want to talk about time off in and around October. Do you and Janice have plans booked or something? I'm looking to make some. You know about my situation? I guess she carries it well. What piece of evidence is not what it appears to be? I think it's the life insurance policy. Not that. Something had to have changed in Milia's life. Something huge. That wasn't a viral test! Okay, we're gonna have to go through this all over again, but... yeah, that wasn't a viral test. There is a reason why it was in the drawer. Whoops, crap. Darn it. Yeah, March, October. Yep. Oh, darn it. That's it! Order! Miss Aquila, really? Your Honor, what's all this now? It's just so simple. The answer's been staring at us for this entire time. Chad, want to know what kind of event would make a mortal enemy go after a happily married couple? Mortal enemy? What might turn a smoldering fury into white-hot rage? Something has happened that caused Milia and Janice to reorganize their entire lives. Something that makes people get life insurance policies. Something that makes people act out of character. Something that even the greatest of lovers will have arguments about. Something that would, fairly, drive Milia to anger and grief if she felt she or Janice were threatened in any way. And something that could make a spiteful mother move heaven and earth in response. Hey, Devona, I just checked with my bank via my cell, and I didn't pay twice for any date. Why do I remember going out with you? It's fine, honey, I'll explain later. You told me you loved the Christmas party that I organized. How come you weren't even there? Really, I can explain. Order! Milia has a motive that can explain all of this. Don't you dare. Your Honor. Milia is pregnant. Why, you... But Nina, why are you acting like you just figured that out? You and your assistant came to me days ago and it sounded like you understood. So it's true? Goodness. That doesn't exonerate the defendant. Ms. Aquila, we can go over the finer details in due course. No. But are you suggesting this played a part of Milia's motives around the time of the incident? I am, Your Honor. It's actually quite complicated. Jeez, these people have no idea. No, you can't possibly. So let's go over things in exacting detail. I'm sure that can't hurt. Right, Devona? You. Enough of this foolishness. You have tested my patience long enough. Miss Fairchild? Devona? Silence, mere human. You now stand in the presence of Malfara, Queen of Despair. Heavens! Ugh! Release me at once! You know, you all came so close to being spared. All you had to do was find that harlot, that witch, Milia, guilty. Every sign pointed to it. Every piece of evidence. But that Cyclops lawyer. Hey! She just had to stick her oar in. Well, now things are gonna get messy. Look, Queen Malfeasance, or whatever your name is. In this place, I stand for justice. And I do not respond well to threats. If you have a problem with my handling of the case, then take it up with the city. Oh, I'll take it up with this pathetic excuse for a city. But I'll start with you. Never! By the power of the sacred feather. You really want to square up to me alone? You've grown foolish as time has passed, Valkyrie Freya. Shows what you know. Valkyrie, transform! the... You won't harm anyone while we're here to stop you. Very well. Then let this be our final... No way. Nina! Did we get back in time? Wait till you see what we got! Janice is actually... We kinda already got there, Dylan. Huh. I have nothing to fear from my own son. Come to me, boy. Millie, I'm so sorry. It was my memory loss. I didn't know. But now I remember everything, both before and after. And I love you more than all the realms. I was Prince Kakon, but that's in the past. And I just want to be Janice. If that means I get to stay with you. I wasn't sure. I could never hurt you. And I know you could never hurt me. Mother, how could you do this? She's going to be the mother of our child. How could I? How? You worthless ingrate. I am your mother. And you choose to side with that witch? Never mind. I created you, and you will do as I command. My head! Grah! What have you done to him? Give me back my husband, you hag. Give me back my son, you harlot. Uh-oh. Everyone, evacuate the building now! Oh boy, courtroom showdown of a different type. It's over, Malfara. You really think that, don't you? How small you've become, Freya. Your time in exile didn't do you much good. Your enemies stand legion, Malfara. How can you possibly hope to prevail? Yeah! Arise, my army of despair! So that's how. Silence. Obey my command! Grah! You fiend! Let my husband go! What are you doing to him? You have sharp eyes. It has been 6 days, and when the sun sets on this, the 7th, the spell I cast on him will be complete. Any thoughts of this Janice person will be purged from his mind, and he will be Prince Kakon, my son, once more. I just need to siphon off a little more despair. What do we do? That literally is a whole army. Bring it on. Don't be a fool. You girls should flee and protect the civilians and leave me to... Screw that. I'm not running away. Oh, and we got a raid from Matsuquinox. Thank you very much for joining us. We are going into what appears to be not a courtroom battle, but a climactic final battle against the embodiment of all despair and evil. I am Jewelry Jelly, also known as Rebecca Rudranath. I am a reviewer for Nintendo Force, and also I am a variety streamer. And this is one of my many dolls in my collection. She is Luna, and she's wearing a new outfit that I got for her recently. And if you look behind me, I've got a few of my dolls dressed up as various RPG and video game characters. Yes, that is different, Matsuquinox. Yesterday, I participated in the Axe of the Blood God charity stream, and we raised over $20,000 for Trans Lifeline, which is really great. And now we are going to head back into this final battle. Then what do? We fight. The lawyer's right. I have my moments. Prepare for a charge. Time to go out with a bang. And maybe we'll take enough of them with us. Now, my creatures. Hold it right there. Are you truly the one who is responsible for all that has befallen Fledge City? This dump? Of course. What of it? And these girls, they are attempting to defend the city from your wickedness? Yes, yes, I grow tired of your insolence. My wrath spares none, not even grandmas like yourself. I am in fact a grandma, and my grandchildren live in the city. So if these young women stand against you, I stand with them. You and what army? Our restaurant is our life. We stand with them. No one's destroying our convenience store. I stand with them. Fledge City's the best. The bikers of the waste stand with them. Their cause is just. Agreed. Psst, Miss Amara. Do it, Comet. Are you sure? Go for it. Right. You get a feather. You get a feather. Everyone gets a feather. By the power of these secret feathers, people of Fledge City, transform! Final chance, Malfara. Fools! My army! Annihilate them! Valkyries, charge! Nina, are you okay? I'm fine, I think. Where's Milia? We got separated. Grah! Just a little more. If I can siphon off just a tiny bit more to spare. Leave him alone. This is no concern of yours, lawyer. Is this all really just to punish Milia? You had Khan. You'd already kidnapped him. Why did you need to frame Milia too? Because that witch seduced him. She's poisoned his mind against his own mother. He barely even remembers me. Do you know what it's like to have your child ripped away from you? Ripped away? But you, green hair, I can sense it. You have despair to spare. Give it to me. Arg! No! Take mine! Damn! Now we've got the exorcist. This was a mistake, Valkyrie. To let me in willingly like this. In this place, you are transparent. I can poke and prod and see your greatest despair laid before me. Okay, Sephiroth. Then do it. What? Do it! Who are you? You already know who I am. I'm Nina Aquila. How did you... Later. Janice. Milia. My spell, it failed? Why? How did you know? Perhaps I see better from one eye than you do from two. Curse this wretched city. Time to just do what I have done a long time ago. I'll just destroy all of Midgard. She's serious. We've got to stop her. And I think I know how. Janice. Way ahead of you. Mother. Enough, please. Get away from me, traitor. Okay. Don't tell me he's gonna be like, we're gonna name our baby after you if it's a girl. What choice do I have? You always have a choice. Even after all this, you're still my mom. You can destroy this place, or relinquish the last of your power now, and you'll have to face justice. But at least, you'll get to be Grandma. I... I've lost, haven't I? You can't see it right now, but you've gained more than you think. It's over. The monsters are all turning back into bikers! That means... Dylan! Atalanta! Ice Pick! You okay? Are you okay? We think so. I'm just so happy you're safe. Hey, bro? You look hella cute. He knows. Looks like I'll need to find a baby shower gift after all. Seems like it's time to tie a bow on this. Judge Tawny? Yes. Oh Magical Grandma. Can I, request a special session for my client? Granted. Meanwhile, place this woman under arrest. I should get to my bench and hopefully we can resume without too much delay. Oh, it's Chad. I guess he managed to avoid the chaos outside. But what is this here? What's this? Some sort of note? It says, "It was necessary. Be relentless." Necessary? Chad? Ah, you're both here. Let's bring this to a close, shall we? We have assembled for a special session of court following... Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Hawke. I apologize for speaking out of turn, but you are presiding over the session, whilst bereft of your garb of office. And I think you look like $1,000,000, Your Honor. Respectfully, of course. Well, Alas, Mr. Hawke is correct. We have assembled for a special session of court following the dramatic events that took place outside of this very courtroom. Milia Norden? Yes, Your Honor. It has become evident to me over the last hour that you and your colleagues have, in the past, done this city a great service. A service you repeated just now. However, all of this was extrajudicial. You were not appointed as the guardians of the city by any legal means. Your Honor, please, Ms. Aquila. While it appears your husband now sits in the gallery, circumventing the charge of murder, I believe that on the day in question you did, in fact, act with intent to kill. This is all true, Your Honor, as I see it. What? Nina, surely Tawny isn't going to... We'll see what we can. Isn't there some kind of legal trick or something? Milia's a hero. I find myself in a quandary. After what I have seen, my personal feelings mean I may be forced to recuse. Your Honor, I must insist that I speak on behalf of my client. Go ahead. The defense will accept your version of events as you just relayed moments ago. However, unlike a police officer or a firefighter or a soldier, Milia and the other valiant Valkyries did not study or work towards assuming their duty to defend Fledge City. Instead, this was a duty thrust upon them when, frankly, they were too young to truly understand that. The fact they succeeded was because they hold themselves to the absolute highest of standards. Indeed, when all hell broke loose outside, Milia could, in the aftermath, have simply left. Few would have blamed her. A fair observation. Milia? Yes? Why did you attack what stood before you during the incident? Nina, just answer, please. Trust me. I was angry and afraid. And why were you angry? Why were you afraid? Because I thought that monster was going to hurt me, and my baby, and everyone else in the room. In that moment, I was furious that someone would do something like that. And you feel bad about this. You feel that due to your anger, that your actions were not honorable? Well, yes. But you needed to do this, right? Of course. It was unavoidable? To you? It was necessary. Because people could have been killed. I hate that I had to do this. That everyone's been put through all this. But Hank, Maxie, they're like my family. And I couldn't let them be hurt.
Order.
Order. Necessary. Your Honor, the defense puts forth a maxim. Necessitas non habet legem. That necessity has no law. Or, in its more modern interpretation, that which is truly necessary is legal. And on that point, the defense rests. I believe Ms. Aquila's point stands. Yeah! Knew it! Yeah! You mean...
Order.
Order! This court will, in future, need to meet to decide the fate of the Lady Malfara. However, that has no further bearing on this case as it stands. Though the logic is somewhat convoluted, it has become clear that during the incident in question, the defendant acted in the best interests of both the city and those immediately around her. Therefore, on all charges, I find the defendant
Not guilty.
not guilty. Millie! Janice! Alright, this is the end of the day. It is recommended that you save your game to a new file, blah 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 blah. And with my oath fulfilled, I, Kiara Williams, return the sacred feather. And with my oath fulfilled, I, Danny Trost, return the sacred feather. And with my oath fulfilled, I, Amara Walker, return the sacred feather. And with my oath fulfilled, I, Dylan Merlot, return the sacred feather. And with my oath fulfilled, I, Nina Aquila, return the sacred feather. And finally, Tuesday, March 10th, 6:21 p.m., Centrum Park, Day 7. I don't know. Oh, come on, Millie. We all agreed we'd do this. We're done. Is something wrong, Milia? There's still something about all this I don't understand. What? It's about the night before the incident. The person Maxie saw outside was Devona in my costume, right? That's right. But Maxie said that she thought she saw her with the monster from the show. What was that about? Oh, that. What did Devona/Malfara have with them when Maxie saw them outside through the window? I'm not quite convinced, but maybe I'm just tired after everything I've been through. But still, I'm not sure that was the right piece of evidence. Isn't there something missing, an item we haven't accounted for? Alright, it lets you do it over again, so let's see. Something not accounted for. Let's see here. Nah. It's strange, I know, but I'm pretty sure it was Janice's Kakon costume. My costume? Think about it. If Devona hadn't disposed of the costume, people would have asked questions. Such as if Janice had been incinerated, why was his costume still in wardrobe? It's the same reason she had to deploy the ammo crate. I guess she wanted to kill two birds with one stone. She had to tie up that loose end. That makes sense. I think I'm ready to do this. Be brave, honey. Remember, if you ever need us, we'll come back at the call of our name. I know. Then repeat. I know what to say. And with my oath fulfilled, I, Milia Norden, return the sacred feather. Asgard calls, and to it we must return. Nina Aquila, your quality will be known throughout the realms. As with the others, should you ever find yourself in a dire hour, when all hope seems lost, call out to myself or Shtarna, and I give you my oath. Help shall always find you. Thanks, Comet. Goodbye. Farewell. Now, I think it's my turn to thank... Forget it, you diva. This is my moment. Well done, Nina. I can never truly speak for her, but I think you did Erica proud. I know I gave you a hard time, but you're a great Valkyrie Brunhild in my book. Thanks. Now come on, girls. I'll buy you sushi. I can't eat raw fish. She's pregnant, so... I was talking to Kiara and Danny. I assumed you two would want to make your own dinner plans. I could eat. I know a place. Sorry. Let's roll. I was just thinking, with the baby, if it's a girl. What about Nina? I was going to say the same. Actually, honey, I want to talk to Nina for a moment. Can I meet you at the gate? Don't be long. Nina, I spoke to my mother in police detention. Oh? I know that it was really you that ended the battle. What you did, I can't imagine how hard that must have been. Nothing I do or say can ever make this up to you. But know that I am forever in your debt. I understand, but Really, don't let it get to you. It's a part of who I am. Now go, take Milia out to dinner. Somewhere that doesn't serve raw fish, or liver, or game meats. You know, just let her pick. I'm sure she knows. Farewell. Okay, I've been quiet for long enough now. Huh? What was Janice talking about? How did you stop Malfara? It's probably easier if... Okay, I've got to show you something. Let's head to the Fludge City graveyard. Okay, so where is the graveyard? That's the studio. Alright, so... a very interesting end to the story. Gotta say, it's not something that I would have expected to see, but it was effective. And there's the graveyard, I guess. Tuesday, March 10th, 7:15 p.m. Fludge City Graveyard, Day 7. What are we doing here? Dylan, I want you to meet some people. Firstly, Mom and Dad. Sarah and Frank Corvus. Oh, but let me finish. And here are Papa and Mama. Theo and Paula Aquila. You have 2 sets of parents? I guess you might say that. I didn't really... I called them both Mom and Dad, really. Just these days I use Mama and Papa for the Aquilas. I think they would have wanted that. The Aquilas were my biological parents, but after they died, I was raised by Sarah and Frank Corvus. I'm sure it's hard for you to tell me this, but it doesn't explain how you beat Malfara. It's like Malfara said. I was 6 years old when it happened. Papa was a scientist and engineer, and Mama was an accountant. They both worked for a big local business's R&D division in weapons research. One day, I had come to work with Mama. I don't really remember why. Papa had to go out to the car in the parking lot. Mama needed to tell him something, so we walked out to the lobby. She left me with a lady who worked at the office. Stay with her, okay? I'll be right back. And ran over to Papa's car. I was only a kid, and though I didn't realize it at the time, I felt something was wrong. Don't go! Maybe it was how she spoke, or the look on her face. I'm not sure. I wriggled out of the lady's grip on my hand, and I remember looking up at her face, before running after Mama towards the car. And in that moment, my life changed forever. A car bomb? Uh-huh. People thought it was an accident at first, but a later investigation found the remnants of a device. They were assassinated. I was standing far enough away that I missed the worst of it, but... I was hit in the face by pieces of shrapnel, leaving scars, as well as cutting a chunk out of my right ear. That was the last moment I recall seeing anything with my right eye. My memory after that fragments a bit. I half remember the operation it carried out to keep me alive. The next thing I knew, I woke up and leapt out of bed like a bullet from a gun, on an unfamiliar hospital ward at 3 a.m., blind in one eye. I cried and wailed and fought so much to try and escape. Let me go! Let me go! Mom! Dad! Then a nurse had to sit me down and tell me that my parents were never coming, no matter how much I screamed. That both of them were dead. I think I'm starting to get it. I'm told after that, I didn't say anything for days. When Malfara spoke to us, just before she attacked you, I realized that she would try to draw out your despair, but she made one mistake. She told us her greatest fear, of her child being left alone in the world, torn away from their mother. I made her relive my pain, all at once. Whoa. I'm sorry about some of the things I've said to you recently. I've never been the best at being... We're cool. Really? Both of us lost our parents to the Great Northern War, even if it was in different ways. But we work with what we got, right? I don't like... pity? Yeah. Me neither. Don't want it, don't need it. What happened afterwards? How did you end up getting adopted? Oh. The city prosecuted their employer for negligence with their security. As they were making weapons, and this was in wartime, it was seen as a big failing on their part. Frank Corvus was the lawyer they assigned to represent my interests. A large cash settlement was reached out of court, and when it was all over, Frank and Sarah had no kids, so they legally adopted me. That cash settlement paid for my upbringing and college tuition before it ran out. I was so young, it wasn't long before I considered Frank and Sarah as like my actual parents. You said once you felt I'd been born to be a lawyer. Do you remember? Up on the Rostro Spire, I remember. Frank Corvus was there for me, when everyone in the world was a stranger. I felt that as an attorney, I could be that, for other people, when they most need it. So you see, I wasn't born to be an attorney, but these things made me into one. Sounds like Frank was a pretty stand-up guy. He was. Theo Aquila was my father, but Frank was my dad. Rest in peace, Frank. Ditto. I almost forgot. There's one last thing. What? This is the weird part. Up on the Rostro Spire, we saw a woman who met with Trey Gearson. Yeah, I remember. You froze up. That woman was the one trying to hold my hand just before the explosion that killed my parents. Are you sure? It's been decades. Her face was the last I ever saw with both eyes. I'm absolutely certain. Still, what's so weird about that? It's been what, 20 years? She probably got another job. That's the strange part. It's been 20 years, but she looks identical. She was standing pretty far away, Nina. I'm telling you, it's not like that. Her face is burned into my memory like a photograph. And even after 20 years, she looked exactly the same. Maybe we could look her up. You got a name? No. She was a random coworker from my parents' workplace. I think it's nearly time for dinner. Huh? I believe you about this woman, but we're not going to solve that mystery here. There's always tomorrow. You're right. Let's head back to the office. Bye, Mama, Papa, Mom, Dad. You okay? I'm just kind of relieved to be home. What's all this stuff? Oh, that? Let's talk about that tomorrow. In that case, I'm gonna see what's on TV. Dylan Merlot has left your party. I could take a shower, or just grab my night clothes from the lockers in the bathroom. Let's see what Dylan's watching, though. Weren't you going to take a shower? And now we get strategically placed steam clouds. I wonder how she sounds when she sings in the shower. That's better. Now food. I wonder if Dylan wants to get pizza. What are we watching? Just some anime show about giant robots. Huh. Do you want to get pizza? That reminds me. I need to check if we've been paid. Let me go check the mail. Junk mail. Junk mail. You've won a subscription to. Junk mail. From the desk of Lucas. Ah, here we go. We've been paid. Great. I'll grab the phone. What do you want, the stuffed crust or... Hang on, there's a second envelope inside this one. Consultation for redevelopment plan. Nina, did you know about this? It sounds like they want to demolish this whole block. Ooh, that. They put a notice about that downstairs. Apparently it's just a preliminary... They're already applying for the zoning permits. Is it really that far along? It says there's a big community meeting happening in a week. I need to RSVP to say we'll attend. Hey, Dylan, why did that notice come in the same envelope as our check? Oh, that. The meeting's being chaired by that rich guy who owns the TV studio. He was trying to gentrify downtown. Mr. Lucas? That's the one. Lucas, it's somewhere here. Here it is on the letterhead. Lucas Fulkin. Lucas Fulkin? Tsutoku! Next time on Nina Aquila, Legal Eagle. Giant robots. Sword 12 moving to Sector 6. No sign of hostiles. Over. Understood, Sword 12. Continue sweep. Roger that. This is Sword 12. Still reporting no... Sword 12, this is Sword Actual. We're detecting something unusual in your area. Can you confirm? Over. Sword Actual, this is Sword 12. Define unusual. Repeating, this is Sword 12. Command. Can you define what you mean by unusual? Command. What the? It It's that time again! Aquila channel! Hello! Welcome to Aquila channel, a special viewer-facing segment where we talk to you, the player. This chapter was themed primarily around the magical girl anime genre. Fans will surely have noticed some of the references spread throughout, though we reimagined an anime show within the Fudge City world as being filmed like a real-life tokusatsu show. Maybe we're going a bit fast. Magical girl or maho shoujo brands have become a staple of real-world Japanese culture. But did you know that they descend, in part, from an American show? The 60s live-action sitcom Bewitched, in which an otherwise normal housewife is secretly a witch, was popular in Japan and inspired several anime shows which went on to become a whole genre. Now, of course, stories of women and girls with magical powers exist in many cultures across the world, but it's still fair to say that this American show had an influence on the genre, which evolved to be uniquely Japanese with its own tropes and cliches. We recommend fans who are interested should search online to learn more about these cross-cultural connections, because they're kind of fascinating. However, those early shows would usually involve a single girl using magic to solve typical life problems. It can surprise some people to know that the idea of a team of warrior girls, each with magic powers, actually came much later. Warrior girls first emerged in the 70s, though you can't really talk about this without mentioning Sailor Moon, which in the early 90s would mix magical girl fiction with elements of super team shows. Think Power Rangers, to make something that felt fresh and new. The weird part is that these days, shows where a team of magical girl warriors, usually wearing different colored uniforms or armor, have become so popular that people almost think of it as the stereotypical cliche for the genre, when originally those things were straying from the norm. Once we had the idea of the team, it seemed to make sense that in this world, their show would be more like a live-action, special effects-heavy production. Magical girl media, at its core, has a strong sense of identity. The girls who transform take on an idealized form, and this is part of their character growth. It's quite telling that in the early shows, the girls would often transform into a doctor, or an office lady, or a mother. They were made for kids, so their main character would get a glimpse of the adult world during their adventure. This idea of playing with identity seemed fun. Take Milia in the story. She's so many different people to everyone around her. She's Milia the actress, Milia the wife, Milia playing a role on TV, Milia as an actual magical girl. And in the story, Malfara represents one of these lives breaking through and contaminating the others. This is also tied to Nina and Dylan's story. Nina has the version of herself she shows to the world, but rarely lets anyone see beneath that. Dylan has similar motivations. Dylan and Nina found victory by working through their own issues. Yay! Even the story's final clue involved a piece of evidence easily seen as one thing, but actually something else. In a sense, both Nina and Milia wear masks, and the magical girl theme seemed a great way to explore that. Now it's time for us to sign off, but before we go, thanks again for playing. And as always, tell your friends. Chapter 5's going to be a journey into the heavy metal world of giant robots. So if you liked this 4th chapter of Nina Aquila Legal Eagle, are you gonna naller, naller, naller? Make sure you look us up and follow us for more news about Chapter 5. Full Metal Law. Phew. I know, right? Glad I'm done wearing that bikini armor. You? What about me? I think Goggle Boy over here actually made for a pretty cute girl. It's my hips. Always had them. Still, next one's all about mecha, right? No bikinis for that one. Yeah! What? Ever heard of a plug suit, Dylan? Alright, so we have now rolled credits on Nina Aquila Legal Eagle Chapter 4. It was a lot of fun, and I am very surprised as to how it ended. Very, 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 very silly. Yes, that was good. And just so you guys know, so July is coming up as of tomorrow, actually. And for July, I am going to be playing a JRPG. And thanks to a friend of mine's suggestion, I am going to be playing Bravely Default HD. And we're going to start that on Thursday night. Saturday night, I will probably see if I can, if there's anything else, like any post-credit stuff for Nina Aquila Chapter 4. I'm not sure, but we will continue with Bravely Default on Saturday night. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this turned out. I absolutely loved the Oprah reference. It was amazing. I love it. The first thing, special thanks, my wife. But yeah, I mean, love stories. You gotta thank your spouse first and foremost. I mean, they're the ones that love you unconditionally. Thank you for playing. Nina will return in Nina Aquila, Legal Eagle, Chapter 5, Full Metal Law. Okay, that's going to be it for tonight, and let me see who is streaming that we can give them a raid. La-di-da-di-da. Okay, we are going to be reading Arkolf. And Arkolf is playing the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. So everybody, thank you very much for joining me. I will see you guys again on Thursday night. And until then, this is Jewelry Jelly with Princess Luna and George Washing Machine. And until we meet again, may all of your tea times be perfect.